Ladies and gentlemen, from the Microsoft Theater here in downtown Los Angeles, brought to you by Shawn Porter Promotions.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the PorterWay Podcast. We got a live one coming to y'all. Sean Z in the building over the weekend. What we doing right now? Yeah, what are you scheming on?
Nothing.
You sure?
When you're not scheming on shit, you gotta look like you might have something up your sleeve.
That sound about right.
A good bluff.
Yeah. What's going on?
Man, nothing much. Got worn out yesterday by the family, man. Went out to Moapa Valley out and went to the county fair.
We're not scheming on.
Did some mutton busting. I'm sure you'd have never heard of that. Yeah.
That sounds familiar.
You have to ride a sheep. It's like bull riding, but with the sheep, since the kids are too small to ride a bull.
Yeah.
All kinds of stuff that I didn't grow up doing, but I'm happy to see my son doing.
You never did that before?
No.
Yeah. How much did it cost?
I don't know. I gotta ask his mom. I just
Was
gave
it
her the,
was it worth it? I'm just wondering if it was worth,
Oh yeah. And then he got to do some small tank fishing, and then they had a bunch of carnival and rides. So it was fun. I got worn out though, man, because I didn't get to bed till 2:00 because the DMG promotions card you were commentating at ringside and I was attending as media went on pretty late into the night. So
right.
Yeah.
I had literally got a text message from somebody. I think it was the last show we did. We pretty much like jumped into the episode, or it might have been the episode before that. It might have been the episode before that, but I got a text message. Somebody's watching the show and literally texted me and said, "That's what I'm talking about, straight to business." And so we're going to get straight to it today. I'm not going to waste too much time. If this thing is under 60 minutes, then it just happens to be under 60 minutes. Do some house cleaning real quick. We have our membership page. We want you guys to join our membership. We got a lot of good stuff coming to that show or to that page. The all exclusive footage. I was debating whether or not I'm gonna make this announcement. I'm gonna wait for this announcement, but I got something real cool concept that I came up with. I'm not gonna throw out any names today, but I got a couple people on board for this. It's sexy. That content is gonna go to our membership. I'm gonna tell you all about it next week. I'm not gonna tell you about it this week, but I just want to let you guys know that there's exclusive stuff that's happening with the podcast, with just me, with other fighters that I can get involved, all that kind of stuff, even fans. This one right here that I'm talking about, fans are going to be able to participate in this. So while you participate, while you become a part of the action, join in on all the other action that you don't see right here on the PorterWay Podcast. Do that at our membership. And also, we don't have any fan questions, and this is about 3 weeks straight, and I don't like that. So let's figure it out, fellas. Let's figure it out, people.
Get your shine on, man. You get on camera on the podcast and everything.
Yeah.
I
think it's bit.ly/ask TPWP. Did I get that right, Hafey? Boom. That's it. bit.ly/TPWP. 60 seconds. Introduce yourself because we want to know who you are, where you come from, and then y'all ask us about anything and we'll answer it. Couple things going on this weekend. We're going to be streaming a live fight night from Phoenix, Arizona, live on the PorterWay Podcast. Like I always say, bigger and better, and just trying to do more. And I've offered this before. We did something in Albany, New York, late last year, and we were able to stream that. And so we've offered this to people pretty much around the country. If you have amateurs that you want to get seen, if you have pros that you want to get seen, the PorterWay Podcast is here. The fees are generous, and we just want to do our part to help expose the boxing around the country. We'll be coming out of Phoenix, Arizona this weekend. Hafey, I don't know if you're putting up any of the assets yet, but this is the time to do it. Let's see real quick. I will be there. Mostly shaking hands and kissing babies. I'm going to get on the mic a little bit. I can't not do that. Might be on the mic all night, depending on who's there. But it's going to be a fun night.
So
It's Saturday night. Fight Club Phoenix, coming to you by North Star. What is this? North Star Advocates. Excuse me. If you're in Phoenix, check us out down at the Arizona Center. Tickets are still available. we have boxing and MMA going on all night, all professional. We were not able to get the pro-am going for this one, but we want to make this a pro-am kind of situation. My theory is that boxing has lost a lot of luster here in the United States because you don't have young people doing it anymore. Young people aren't watching it. Young people aren't looking up to it the way that they used to. And I'm not mad at these other sports. Everything is football, everything is basketball, everything is soccer, MLS, football. And boxing needs to make a comeback. To me, Zittel, and I would love to have your opinion on this. I think that you have to get families interested in boxing. You can't just get a teenager or that era interested in boxing in order to grow boxing. I think it's a family oriented thing where the moms and the dads and the cousins and the uncles, they have to hand it down like it's always been handed down. And I feel like we've lost that handing down process. What do you think?
No, I think you're 100% right. I got into boxing from my who was at the time my best friend's father, who grew
Mm,
up watching Salvador Sanchez and Julio Cesar Chavez. And so then by the time we're in the Fernando Vargas, Oscar De La Hoya era in the
right.
early 2000s, I'm going to fight parties, and that's how I'm falling in love with boxing. But boxing is a grown man's taste and sport. And it's usually a young man or a kid or a teenager gets into boxing because they have an older person, whether it's a dad, an uncle, sometimes even a grandfather, or like in my case, your friend's father.
Hmm.
Someone like that gets you into boxing, and
Right.
yeah, it's supposed to be kind of a community event, where families coming over, friends are coming over. Like Keith Thurman was pitching his pay-per-view to Fundora to us a couple weeks ago. Where the broskies at, and throw something
Yeah.
on the grill and have people come
Yeah.
over and chip in.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's a Saturday night event. It's not a Sunday morning, afternoon event like football or, other sports like that. So,
I do
well,
believe this starts in the late afternoon. I don't have the time as to which the telecast will start, but I want you guys to make sure that you stay tuned to my social media. Also, stay tuned to the PorterWay Podcast networks as well, social medias as well, so that we can get the time of this out. To the point of what you just said, this is like a mid afternoon. It's going to start mid afternoon. Reason being, MMA, boxing, also live bands, live DJs performing,
okay.
and we'll have a lot of vendors around the it's an outdoor show as well. So we're right there at the Phoenix Center. So it's an outdoor show, boxing over here, MMA right here. They're not going to be going simultaneously. So we'll be able to view both on the podcast, and people there will be able to view both as well. A couple of
Mickey
uh
Scala. Oh, my
there
man,
you
Mickey
go.
Scala.
Some
Yeah.
some local talent
One
there.
of the few Italian fighters we got. So he used to
Yeah.
fight for Floyd Mayweather and Leonard Ellerbe Mayweather Promotions. I don't know if he still is.
No, he's
Okay.
with oh man, I'm losing his name. DeGuardia. He's with DeGuardia now.
Another
He's
one.
with
All right.
he's with Joe now. He said another one. He's with Joe now. We also got Isaac Chavez on the card as well. Isaac is exciting. Scala is exciting. Two
Yeah.
local favorites that we had to get on. Of course, this is going to be a lot of local Phoenix talent. But don't shy away from that because this local Phoenix talent is going up against some rugged contenders, some rugged opponents. Excuse me. So it's going to be a really good, fun night. And like I said, a lot of entertainment going on, not just boxing. And again, another part of my approach to growing boxing is it has to be an event. It can't be just boxing. People that don't understand boxing are going to walk right past it. Give them something else to look at, give them something else to grab a hold to, and hopefully we can grab them from there and keep them. So yeah, that's that. Anything else? Sunday, we have a live. How do I start this? We have a live undisputed. Uh, I'm coming to you with this one. We have a live undisputed offline match happening right here in Las Vegas. Shout out to DDA, our road producer.
Yep.
Shout out to the WBGC platform. You gamers out there, you guys are well aware of our WBGC platform. This event is taking place right after we do our show Sunday. So again, When you get on the membership, you join that membership. It's $9.99 a month. You get an opportunity to see this show before you get to see the recording of the show. You get the live behind the scenes right there, live in color. And then after that, what won't be on the membership, but will be on the WBGC platform. We got two guys going head to head. I'm sorry, let me do this real quick. Moneybag Mari coming from right here in Las Vegas, and then we got West Orlando KJ coming all the way from Orlando. So KJ's coming from Orlando. Will be here Friday or Saturday, and they're gonna go head to head, toe to toe. KJ will be fighting with Sugar Ray Robinson, and Moneybag Mari will be fighting with Sugar Ray Leonard. So I told them that the winner might have the opportunity to go against you.
Let's go. I get you're giving me the number 1 seed, huh? I get the
Yes,
bye. I get
absolutely.
All right, let's
Absolutely.
go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
There is money on the line. Everyone go to our WBGC platform to see more on how you can get involved with that part of the process. If you're a gamer, we definitely want to connect with you. This is not the first, or it's not the last, definitely the first, but not the last time we're going to get two players together and bring them together to do this. The online for the game isn't as sharp as we expected to be at this point. So we say, hey, let's not wait any longer for those guys over there to do what they got to do. Let's keep pushing this game forward and let everybody know that we know how to have fun with it. So the offline works. We're gonna bring two guys together right here at the HyperX Arena in Las Vegas at the Luxor, and they're gonna go head to head right after the podcast. So through the podcast, we're literally gonna clear the room, bring those guys in, and go right to it. So
I need 12 rounds, Sean. I'm a 12-round fighter. Like,
are you?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I need 12.
What does that mean? Like you just don't
If
go for
you
the knockout, or what?
No. Well, what I mean is in the game, if it's an 8-round fight, a guy could come out and punch himself out in the first 4 or 5 rounds, and then you're down 4 or 5 points. You don't have the back end of the fight to make him pay for doing that. So yeah, the more rounds it is, the more I feel skill takes hold.
Yeah,
Over 12
yeah.
rounds. So
And then so you're all about the sim opposed to the
yes.
what do they call it? Competitive or something like that?
No. Well, sim is more simulation, competitive, same kind of thing,
I got
as
you.
opposed to more like arcadey play.
Got you. Yep.
Yep.
And both these guys, man, shout out to both these guys. They actually have like some teams, some guys that they're working with, and they get on the game and they basically spar. Like they simulate sparring scenario in the game, which I think is pretty cool. Have you done that?
No, I haven't had a chance to get like in an offline community. I'll probably gonna stick around Sunday and see them work. Maybe even get a chance to get a little fight with them going on. And then like you said, I actually like the idea of getting to do a fight on the show at some point. So
Yeah.
I like that.
That'll be the next step, man. But like I said, and then we'll jump off of this. But WBGC platform is all about cultivating a good network of people who love to have fun, who love the game beyond the issues that we're having right now, and all about fair play. That's what we're about. Shout out to my boy DDA for putting that together, holding that down. And like he said, man, he just brings me in when it's showtime. And that's when I like to be brought in. So there's that. Let's get to some boxing. Brandon Adams, right? So shout out to my boy Brandon. I haven't spoken to him yet. Saturday night, I was told he was still in the hospital. The long story short, from where I'm sitting, and I don't know a whole great deal about it, but I think between getting here from California and just the week of work that was needed for the promotion, I think that kind of like with me coming in a little overweight against Ugas, he didn't get to his strategy, his what do I want to call it, his protocol. He didn't get to his protocol on time or whatever the case may be, and the kid ends up in the hospital, which brings us to now. And I'm under the impression that he should vacate 154 pounds. I just think that he carries a lot of muscle mass, and I think that he's hurting himself trying to get to 154 pounds. He risks size at 160, but what he risks in size, he makes up for with athleticism, with just raw brute talent, and he's strong himself. So I want to see him come back at 160. I want to see him get offered an opportunity to fight for a world championship title in the very near future at 160. Do you think that's possible?
I mean, ideally it would be possible for him, but I don't know if it's realistic because he he beats Boachuk on the Canelo Crawford card, and he turns down an offer from Zuffa. Boachuk winds up taking the deal, and Boachuk's fighting Shane Mosley Jr. in their next card. He turns down the deal because he's headed towards a world title opportunity at 154 pounds, the IBF title that Josh Kelly holds now. So he's not, shout out to DMG Promotions. They're just really getting started. But when you're not with a major promoter and you're 36 years old and you're not necessarily a big name either, it's going to be difficult to just go up to 160 unless the IBF, which is one of the stricter and in a lot of ways one of the more admirable sanctioning bodies, unless they could give Brandon some kind of assurance at 160. And maybe that's possible, Sean, because Janabek got stripped of his title, so that IBF title is vacant right now. If he can go up to he would him and his manager Mark Habibi would have to get their ducks in a row and see if the IBF can assure them of a vacant title fight, something like that. If not a title eliminator, then yeah, I'm with you because Brandon in his world title opportunity fought at 160 against Jamal Charlo. He is a really muscle bound guy, and he's had to make 154 for about a decade or so now, I believe. So it's I'm like you. That's what I thought too when he wasn't able to get through the weight and get through the weight cut was, well, yeah, look at him. I mean, the way he's built, how long he's had to make that weight, the age he's at after making that weight all those years. So if him and his manager can get him an assurance by the IBF, then yeah, go to 160. But if not, he's in a tough position where he may try to squeeze down again and go through with this fight with Agyarko because it could still be the best opportunity for him, even if it's not the best for his health and his weight to get to a world title shot. So I would sitting in my basement advise them on that. And I'm sure they are. I'm sure I'm not telling them anything they aren't already thinking of.
Right.
But maybe they're in luck, Sean, because again, Janabek is stripped of the title at 160. That title is vacant.
Yeah, I was unaware of that, so I'm glad that I made that kind of call right there. Just kind of looking at the landscape of his career, of course, being a friend of his, a fan of his, and
Yep.
all those sorts of things. How can we get this kid there for that last hoorah? You know what I mean? Someone who I think certainly is still prime, but not technically in his prime, but primarily because of inactivity and a lot of hardships. That hardships takes that prime away from you. You know what I mean? So this is just another big hit for him. But he's a special dude and a unique character in the
Yep.
fact that he has the ability to look past these heartaches and pains and just keep moving. And in boxing, that's what it really takes. In boxing, a lot of people always ask me, how you get there, da da da. I said, man, patience. Patience before anything. Patience comes before you actually get in the ring because there's a lot of hardship and things you're going to go through. So hopefully best from him. But we got Chantel Navarro. I don't know if you want to comment on her real
Yeah,
quick.
I'll get on her fight in a sec, but for Brandon, you'd like to see him ultimately get one more bite at the apple at a title fight. I mean, that fight with Boachuk was a really good fight. He, like you said, part of you feels like he's in his prime because he hasn't really taken a lot of punishment at all in his career. Never took a real beating. He keeps himself in tremendous shape. He's a great guy to deal with. I mean, if you talk about his upbringing with him in around Watts and Compton, and just the kind of person he's grown out of that element and into the man he's become, and just a deep, cool, very, very very good person when you deal with him. I always saw chemistry between you two guys in and out of the ring, sparring and out of the ring back when he would come to the performance center. So I'm hoping the best for him. And yeah, maybe I just want to see him get one more bite at the apple before it's all done. He's a well-preserved, in shape 36-year-old, and hopefully it goes good for him. But for Chantel Navarro, like she was the beneficiary of this unfortunate happening, and she got to get elevated to the main event. Perla Lomeli. It was a good fight. She's a Mexican American girl from Southern California fighting a girl from Mexico. Knew how tough that girl was going to be. She was tough, but she handily beats her the distance. And this girl, Chantel Navarro, I caught up with her after the fight, Sean. She's sparred with Sinisa Estrada. I know she's one of these young Chicana girls like Perla Balazaldula, who trains with Manny Robles, trying to kind of get to the level Gabriela Fundora is at in that Southern California mold, and trying to kind of be in the footsteps of Sinisa Estrada. She won that WBC youth title at Bantamweight. She still knows she has room to grow, but she's got some good words of advice from Alycia Baumgardner, who we'll cover later on the show, who's headlining this weekend. And she had a good fight, and gave the fans that still were there at the Cosmo, gave them an entertaining fight against a tough Mexican fighter. So she's only 22 years old, and she filled the role pretty well in that headliner.
Yeah, I'll let you I'll end it right there. You know what? I will say this about Navarro. I want to see her pace pick up. I think that she fights at a slower professional men's boxing pace, that 3 minute mark. She needs more of a faster 2 minute pace. But outside of that, I think that she handled this young lady as expected, and very, very professional both in and out of the ring. So
Yeah, yeah, and I would like, I think Gabriela Fundora runs those weight classes from flyweight to bantamweight, so I feel like that's the girl you got to take aim at over the long haul, like how you used to watch Floyd and study what am I gonna do if I ever get the call to get that chance, so maybe that's her best shot at a dream fight around these weight classes whenever Gabriella moves up. But
right.
yeah, it's just keep getting better at 22, and I think you gave her a great part of advice right there on improving the pace.
Yeah, and needs to get stronger too. Gabriella comes up there. You need some power.
Yep.
You need a whole lot of everything, but definitely power is essential.
And power
I
that
know.
comes from technique.
Yeah, yeah, and she's
You know.
got really good technique. So, um, Conor Benn gets it in with Regis Prograis. I'm done sparring with these guys, man. I'm tired of hearing my name being thrown around like I was like in a camp. You know what I mean? I can't do it anymore.
Were you okay? So based off sparring both of them in the last, what, 12, 18 months, did it go the way exactly you thought it would?
Yeah, I mean, obviously being a fan of Regis, and a friend of Regis, hoping more for him. That wrinkle, I hope, well, I thought that they would come to the ring with that wrinkle, Conor Benn and his team, that is, the wrinkle that they had against Eubank, where they boxed more, they used more speed and moved more. He was a little bit more, not just hyped up, you know what I mean? It's so funny watching Conor fight, and I said I was gonna stay away from this joke, but I just can't. He reminds me of I think he turned into Frank and me myself and Irene.
Yeah,
Jim Carrey? Who did he
yeah,
turn into?
Hank,
Was it
Hank,
Hank? Yeah,
Hank.
he turned into Hank, and he just does this thing. And every time I see Conor Benn, I think of I think
Are
of
you talking
Hank.
about the?
Yeah, all that. And
Oh,
Connor
what are
doesn't
you
do
doing?
it.
I'm like,
He
yeah, that's
he
great.
doesn't
Go
do
ahead.
that, but I don't know why. But every time I watch Connor, I'm like, man, that's just I think of Hank, So I said I was gonna stay away from that joke, but I just can't, man. I just think it's funny. But nonetheless, that kind of movement, and I had those same kind of energetic tendencies or whatever the case may be. It really works for him. And the other side of that, Prograis, just doesn't have enough anymore.
Hmm.
And we saw that it was the fight he had after. It
JoJo.
was it was the fight with JoJo.
Yeah.
And I was like, he's gonna retire because he just doesn't have it. And he said it after the fight. He says, I think he said, I'm not a 12-round fighter anymore. I think that was what he said. And
Is that what was? I don't want to devolve it too much into the Shawn Porter stories again, but was that what was coming for you next? You feel like Is that part of what made you walk away? Is you were going to be looking like how Regis wound up looking against JoJo, how Wilder
No.
has been looking? Yeah.
No, in the ring on Fight Night, I refuse to give into fatigue. I refuse to give into being hurt and those kinds of things. You know what I mean? For me, it was just I knew that I had gone around that track so many times that I knew I wasn't gonna keep going around the track at that same speed, and I knew that if I wasn't gonna do it in training, then I'm not gonna do it in the fight. And I was like, before I allow anyone to see me look bad, and I thought that, depending on who you are, I either look bad or I look good in defeat against Terrence. I was like, that's the most that you're gonna see me struggle in the ring. But if I had continued, man, and of course I've thought about this before, I just needed a true reset, and I never really got a reset, and I didn't want that reset, But what I mean by a reset is just the rejuvenation of being able to come back and say, hey, here's the new set of goals. Here's what we want to accomplish, and let's do it. That space wasn't there for me. Deontay Wilder is the first one that comes to mind. I think after that trilogy match with Tyson Fury, he takes great time off, and then he comes back with realistic goals and realistic fights. Of course, he drops the one that Zili Zhang, but we still see him going in there. I think that Deontay has a new set of goals. For me, there really wasn't a set of goals that I even cared to entertain. But if I had hit the reset button, things that we see Regis giving into the fatigue, the hurt, and just that round by round energy. Those were things I would have been able to overcome.
And Fury, by the way, I'll put him in there with those three as well. Looks, well past his best as well, but we'll get to him later. Despite all that, man, if indeed this was Regis's last fight, he announced his retirement. I think he definitely walks away with his head held high, because he was served to Conor Benn to get knocked out in this fight. Conor Benn was supposed to show out and get a spectacular kind of performance, knockout over Prograis, and he still fought with the pride of a champion. You're not just going to do me like that. No one's ever done me like that, and you're not going to be the first one to do it. And he still had some of that championship pride and stubbornness of even me looking like I'm on one leg. You're not really my legs underneath me anymore. Even with my speed, a lot of it not what it was and gone. I'm just going to get by on savvy, grit, balls, and still smart too. Still making Conor Benn respect him with the trap of his left hand. And it made Conor Benn, for a lot of the fight, not fight as the destroyer. It made him stay on the outside, take advantage of his advantages in youth and speed, and not be the destroyer. So even though I basically scored every single round for Conor Benn, this was kind of a win for Regis Prograis. I said this after the fight too, Shawn. He was able to execute his best realistic scenario. Ideally your best scenario is getting the W, but he executed his best realistic scenario, and Conor Benn wasn't able to do his. His best realistic scenario was get him out of there and look good doing it, and make the Devin Haney's and the Ryan Garcias of the welterweight division in the boxing world go, yeah, he can hang with them. He's a threat. And I don't think people were saying that after this week.
Right. And to the point of what you just asked me, did the fight go how I thought it would go? That was my best case scenario for Regis, was touch him with that left hand and make him respect it. If you touch him early, he's just not gonna come rushing at you. You know what I mean? So knowing that Regis was coming up 2-3 weight classes, they were meeting. I think did they meet at 150? Yeah, they met at 150. It's things we already know. Most guys that's more of Regis's natural weight is 150. You know what I mean? That's more of his natural weight. But his prime, in shape, best weight could probably be 147, between 140 to 147. So, like you just said, knowing that he was being brought out there to be this poster
sacrificial lamb.
Yeah, exactly. He didn't allow that, and I thought that the only way that won't happen is if he gets some respect early on with that straight left hand. And I talked to you about that left hand. I said, yo, man, this kid wasn't just built up. He made it to places he wasn't supposed to get to because he actually fought himself to get there. And he wasn't somebody that was made up to be this, oh, if you get past him, he really did have it. You know what I mean? I felt that left hand a little bit, and I was like, okay, this kid got it. Yeah, all right. You were real. You weren't just someone who lucked up and got there. You were real and truly did get there. So
It's a heavy left hand, right? Like it's not. He's heavy-handed with that shot, isn't he? It's so to where, yeah.
Yeah, not exactly like an Errol Spence heavy-handed, but it's it's more of a sting than it is a thump. You know what I mean? Yes, it stings you.
But it had enough thump that even when the speed was taken off of it, Conor still was like, I'm not just gonna get reckless against him.
Yeah.
So
And for me, with Conor, it was like, do it. I wanted him at some point, get reckless, at some point, push this kid, if he could be everything that you were told he was, but you didn't take him to that place to remind him of everything that he was told he was, you know what I mean? So like that's what I said, man, it goes both ways. On one hand, you can say, hey, Regis got that respect, and Regis, he's that good. But then the other side of that is Conor didn't really, force him to do 200 miles an hour around the curves. You know what I mean?
Same thing with Makhmudov and Fury.
Yep.
Not able. But to keep it on Conor Benn, Shawn Porter, it's a question I got about quality. If you're saying he respect the punch of an older Regis Prograis in his final fight, how much is he going to respect the punch of Ryan Garcia? Is it to where it's not going to be a cracker, it's going to be a boring fight because he's not going to be the destroyer? If you're not the destroyer against Regis Prograis, are you going to attempt to be the destroyer and get it with a reckless abandon and spite against Ryan Garcia?
I don't know.
I don't think. I don't know. I don't know Shawn Porter.
Well, here's the good news. The good news is he got better. Let's call a spade a spade. Conor Benn is still learning on the job, and he got better after the first fight with Chris Eubank. We saw that in the second fight. He brought some versatility to the ring on Fight Night against Regis. Now we got more film study to do, things we can improve on. That was a straight left coming. You know what I mean? We know he got better. So didn't exactly, I don't think, handled it the way that everybody assumed he was going to handle it. But even in this, he got better. So those are the good signs for him ahead of a fight against a Ryan Garcia, who I think in some ways could be a better matchup for him than somewhat like Devin Haney, who's going to run his hands, doesn't care who you are, what you do. He's going to use his feet and stuff like that. We saw that in the fight with Brian Norman Jr. It's safe to say Devin Haney is the Devin Haney of old, where he knows how to run his hands, those combinations, use that jab and move and so on and so forth. Ryan, who fights at a one-punch, two-punch pace and favors that left hook, who is predictable, a much better matchup for Conor Benn. And I think that Conor could very well be ready for that kind of fight when it comes.
You are in the minority, my friend. A lot of people think after this performance, especially how his power looks getting back down to close around the welterweight divisions, that he's not beating Ryan Garcia. And I think I'm more with the majority on this one, Shawn. I think Ryan looked really good his last fight, and there's a gap there in power when Benn gets back down to these weights. And I know you talked about the one punch at a time and the left hook, but he was able to drop Barrios with his right hand, and his right hand looks a little improved. I don't know, man. I think
I forgot about that fight.
Yeah. And
he looked great in that fight. I forgot about that fight. And it wasn't just one punch, two punch. It was two punch. It was doom, doom, doom. You know what I mean? It wasn't just doom, 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 doom. He was very active in that fight. That Ryan Garcia is tough customer for anybody. For everybody. Yeah. So, did I say that Conor Benn would beat?
No. You're just saying it's a fight.
Let's make sure
you're not counting him out like a lot of people over the weekend are now counting him out against Devin, Shakur, Ryan, everyone in that caliber, all the championship level guys.
Same reason I don't count Fundora out against and I'll just go ahead and say the amazing Boots Ennis. I don't count Fundora out against the amazing Boots Ennis because of what I learned in the fight against Keith Thurman. Fundora and his team, his dad, they know how to game plan. And when you know how to game plan, along with your abilities, along with for Fundora, of course, it would be his size. For the Destroyer, it will be his presence. You know, he has a presence in the ring. That'll take you much further than if you don't have those things. The fight he had, those 2 fights that he had with Chris Eubank allowed him to improve. And now moving forward, he's going to be able to game plan. This fight, I tell you, I promise you, it's going to pay dividends for him moving forward. So it's not a one-sided fight. That Ryan Garcia fight, not a one-sided fight. But that Ryan we saw against Barrios, I think most people, and I respect everybody for assuming he would starch Conor Benn with that kind of with who he was against Mario Barrios.
Yeah, and to give Conor credit again, I thought he won actually every round. And I did like the body work he did, and that he made some adjustments there, and him not falling into that left hand shows IQ. You can't just be a spitfire kind of guy every single time out. Even if I'm at home sitting down in this cozy chair saying, okay, well, spark him out, spark out the guy on his last legs and all that. Yeah, well, you're not feeling this left hand, so I'm going to use my feet. I'm going to circle the ring. I'm going to get off first. I'm going to have enough respect for the power and the former champion that's in front of me. And, Shawn Porter saying he's still improving, which makes sense because he doesn't have the amateur background of these other guys we're talking about. He's still learning on the job as a pro. He did shorten up his punches and hurt Regis in the 7th round of the body. He started bringing his left hook behind his right hand. He is a good athlete for sure. So I just think he still struggles with some of his management of distance. And now that he's at a level where his athleticism can't just burst him in and out against other good athletes who have a better sense of distance with their pedigree I mentioned before, that it's an uphill climb for him. So, but I hear what you're saying. You're not counting the man out. He's a fighting man, lots of pride. And yeah,
I want to answer real quick, and then we'll move on. I want to answer to William underscore. I just referred to Boots as the amazing Boots in this, right? And so he says my colors are starting to show. So let me go into that.
He's saying that to me.
No, I think he spelled the name wrong because he said stop, Sean. Your colors are showing. So I just want to answer to that real quick, right? So we had a fight. I don't remember this kid's name. Who was that kid? Everybody's calling him a phenom. He's signed with Top Rank right now. He fought on Saturday.
Oh, Julian Montalvo.
Montalvo, yeah. Everybody's calling him a phenom, and the kid is good. But I'm looking at this kid, and I'm thinking to myself, if this is what a phenom looks like, then what the hell is Boots Ennis?
Yeah.
No disrespect to Montalvo, he's gonna be a something.
He was a little flat in this fight, and Julian's a guy who I've heard has done very good with all the big names. I'll leave that specific one in the gym, but you name them around the lightweight 140-pound division.
Keyshawn Davis to Shakur Stevenson, and the list goes on. Everybody has said this kid.
He was a little flat Saturday night.
Everyone said this kid, Julian Montalvo, is that of a phenom. And then let's rewind real quick. And all respect to my guy, Jose Benavidez Jr. Everybody said that he was a phenom. Right, so and I think if I'm not mistaken, he was signed with Top Rank, and Top Rank was kind of like pushing him as a phenom, right? So I was like, well, if those guys are phenoms, then what is Boots Ennis? And I was like, so that's where the calling him the amazing Boots Ennis comes from. The dude is electricity waiting to shock you.
Yeah,
and he just hasn't had the opportunities to shock, right? So. He's got Xander coming up here pretty soon. That fight's in June or May?
June 27th.
That fight's at the end of June. And I think that we will see an amazing Boots Ennis against a superb Xander Zayas. And I think the best man will win that fight. I don't think that that's a one-sided fight either way. If you're from Philly, you don't want to hear that. You know what I mean? If you're Puerto Rican, you don't want to hear that. You know what I mean? But it's a great matchup. But I just wanted to answer to that real quick. I just from what I was exposed to over the weekend and that just has been in my mind. So when I came to Boots, it was like, if you call in everybody else phenoms and stuff like that, then we just gonna have to call him the amazing Boots Ennis. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just the results have to match the production. You know, are you Kobe Bryant or are you J.R. Smith? Like, because J.R. Smith, if you watch his highlight reel, is, I mean, few guys have
That's
his
great. That's great. That's
his
great.
outside shooting ability, his vertical, his dexterity. I mean, J.R. Smith's highlight reel, even
Stupid.
Andre Iguodala, like, you know, these are guys, Jason Richardson. They're
Yep.
just because you got everything. I mean, those Jay Rich and J.R. Smith, they had unlimited shooting range, could jump out the gym, could handle the ball. I mean, but if you don't put it all together in one consistent package with the results to back it up, then you're a ridiculous talent. But and by the way, I think Boots is gonna put it together. I think Boots is gonna be a top 5 pound for pound guy. I think he's gonna beat Xander Zayas. Shit. Well, since we're on the topic, my early pick is
He
Boots.
said shit.
116, 111. I think
Yeah.
it's going to be a competitive fight. I do
Yeah.
think that speed and power and creativity of Jaron Ennis at some point will overwhelm Xander Zayas enough to get a knockdown, but I don't see him knocking out Xander Zayas. I think Zayas is going to make it a very good fight and show why he is who he is as a unified champ, the youngest in the game at 23. But yeah, Boots is a phenomenal talent. I just think the reasonable skeptics are just saying, yeah, but it's got to produce something. You're almost 30 years old. You're a year away from 30, and your best win, respectfully, is Montes Stanionis, who's a good fighter, and you did unify. You did become ring champ, technically the lineal champ at welterweight. But
Hey,
yeah,
is
I
this,
think his talent is better than Errol Spence at this age, but he doesn't have the accomplishments Spence had at that age. But I think
right?
Ennis is a better talent, you know?
I agree. I agree
Yeah.
with that 100%. And I'm just like, I'm gonna read this one to you, man. The fans are taking shots at us today,
Okay.
and more than anything, I'm just happy that y'all here. I'm happy that y'all are commenting. But somebody said, I want to, because I know we gotta give it to this guy. He's Soda Baby 7. No, not Soda Baby. It's I guess it's FU 2 FU2. He said stop talking basketball, and then he said you don't know basketball.
Know
You and
plenty about
I,
basketball. It's
you and
not
I, of people who broadcast boxing, of people who report on boxing, you and I think outside of MX Kellerman, please give me some more, but we have more range than
Chris
like any.
Mannix. Chris
Chris
Mannix is
Mannix.
the NBA
Chris
guy.
Mannix he's
Covers the
got
NBA
range.
like
Yeah,
regularly. Is an
yeah,
NBA source, insider, all of that. Yeah.
right.
Chris
Yeah,
Mannix is
but
that dude when it comes to boxing NBA, you know? Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you and I got some range, so y'all gotta hey back up off my guy, man. And that's that was a great pull on J.R. Smith because Boots at this point in time is J.R. Smith.
I'll give him more than that because JR never made an All-Star game. His best award was the Sixth Man of the Year award in 2013. Since I don't know for the Knicks, since I don't know anything about basketball, had that on League Pass online.
Uh,
But he no, what he to me is more of like I always compare him, Sean, to Vince Carter. Now, he actually doesn't have the career Vince had yet because Vince is a Hall of Famer. Vince was an
yeah.
eight-time All-Star from 2000 to 2007 was his last All-Star game. But what I mean is Vince Carter, remember I made this comparison a year ago. I said Terrence Crawford is Kobe Bryant, right? And to me, Jaron Ennis is Vince Carter or a prime T-Mac where if you just go highlight reel for highlight reel and natural talent for natural talent, you could even give the edge to Jaron Ennis, Vince Carter, but it's basically the same. And Kobe and Terrence have refined all their gifts to the maximum and actually gotten even a little bit more out of it. Whereas Vince Carter got like 90%, 95% of his potential and was still a Hall of Famer, but isn't considered one of the greatest of all time, like Kobe Bryant, like Terrence Crawford is. So yeah, but what I'm saying is if you don't put it all together, even to a lesser extent, then you're J.R. Smith. You're an amazing highlight reel, but not having an amazing career. The comparison I'll stick with for Boots, he reminds me like a boxing Vince Carter. So
There it is.
and
I like that. I like that.
I happen to love Vince Carter. Okay,
Yeah,
Mr. Vince Carter
I
jersey.
love me some Vince Carter too, man. Amazing, amazing athlete. Real quick, hey, go quick on Tyson Fury, and is it Makhmudov?
Yeah,
Mak
Makhmudov.
Makhmudov. Yeah, go quick on them.
Well, he said Kobe had more talent than anyone. Kobe said he wasn't as talented as Tracy McGrady because Tracy McGrady could do everything Kobe could do, but he was 6'8". Kobe Bryant, quote, anyways, but he was
Don't
still wound up being
challenge him, y'all. Don't do that.
But anyway,
Y'all not ready. Y'all not ready.
Tyson Fury. I think I said, Sean, we live in Vegas. Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua are at the Las Vegas stage act portion of their career, which is when you still got a name, you could still sell out every night. Hell, you still got a bigger name overall than a lot of the young acts that are coming through right now. But you're not at your peak anymore. You're not on tour. You're not in your prime. And that's what I think is they are, the sun is setting on their era and that's without debate, really. Even Tyson Fury said heading into this fight, do you think I'm stupid? When someone said, will you fight Moses Itauma? So he knows that. And he acknowledged, watching Wilder and Chisora, he's like, am I next? And it's like, yes, you are next. And look, Fury to me is a great heavyweight, was a great heavyweight, is easily a Hall of Famer, right? And Joshua's a Hall of Famer too. And if Wilder's not a Hall of Famer, he is an all-time great puncher in the heavyweight division. So, but I don't know. I think Fury still showed Fury. Like I once saw Oscar De La Hoya at the Jake Paul Ben Askren press conference where he announced his ill-fated comeback where he was supposed to fight and then it never happened. But Oscar, he's like, I still got it, baby. And he bounced around on his toes and he threw that beautiful up jab. And it's like he's going to be able to do that until he's 90 years old. Kind of like how Floyd Mayweather Sr. could still show you the fast hands and the shoulder roll. Tyson Fury, till the day he dies, is going to have a beautiful up jab off the feint. That Larry Holmes, and out of both stances. He still rips some nice uppercuts. He was still slippery enough to get out of dodge after getting hit with some big shots in the first half of the fight. But he's not that guy anymore. He's not close to what he was when he was at his best in the late 2010s, early 2020s. And I don't know, just my question is, who's going to be the closer of this trio? Is it going to be Anthony Joshua because he's a little bit younger? He's the youngest of the three, because to me, he keeps him he's not as old as Deontay, and he keeps himself in better shape than Tyson Fury does in between fights. And even though Anthony, he gets the yips sometimes, you can't always rely on him mentally heading into these fights. And even though Fury, to me, is the best boxer, pure boxer out of the three, Tyson Fury's the best boxer. Joshua, to me, Sean, you tell me what you think. He still looks like the guy who has his snap the most out of the three, who could still pull the trigger with the same kind of speed, power, torque, and snap, the best out of the three. And I'm wondering, can he be the cleanup hitter? Can he be the last man standing between the trio of Wilder, Fury, and AJ?
He's the best for this question that everybody used to ask when I was younger. I don't get this question anymore. Is it more physical or is it more mental? It always depends on the athlete. For some athletes, the ones that have it physically, it just, the way we're built, it's for them, it's more mental. You got to clock in mentally. You got to stay clocked in mentally. You have problems with your focus. You got problems with your heart and your grit and knowing how to bite down, all those other kinds of things. And then some people who are all that mentally, they don't have it physically. They lack speed. They lack quickness. They lack fundamentals. You know what I mean? For Wilder, he had it physically, but he didn't have the tools mentally. He didn't have the experience. He didn't have the fundamentals to put it down the way that he needed to put it down. What we've seen from Joshua, after taking the kind of losses that he's taken and the heartbreaks that he's taken, it's more mental. It's more mental for him. He has it physically. He's gonna always get in the ring and look like he's all the way there physically, but mentally, how there is he? How there is he? Against a Fury who can who can box his ass off. Fury has the whole package. What Fury lacks now is just the health of boxing. This thing is taking its toll on Fury, but Fury will be able to get in the ring, outbox you, make you second think, make you second guess, make you feel like you don't have it, make you feel like everything that they said you weren't or were the whole point that whole time. I think the last one standing is going to be Fury. I think Fury beats Joshua now because Fury has had the overall package for much longer. Even though he's taking his lumps.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of car crashes, as you always call it. A lot.
Yeah, a lot of car crashes.
Deontay. And so has AJ. Yeah. But I think the other two, in large part by virtue of each other, have taken more of them than Anthony has,
Right. Let me ask you this. Do you think we should see Wilder AJ before we see AJ and Fury?
Yes.
I do too. I think that right now this is a great UK fight that a lot of boxing fans around the world are interested in. I think Joshua, respectful to Wilder, I think Joshua takes care of Wilder in such a way that it goes from being here to being here. This Fury and AJ Joshua fight. I think it goes from being here if Joshua gets in the ring with Wilder first, because I think Wilder is susceptible to getting hit. I think Wilder is he doesn't have the punch resistance that he used to have. And I think the presence of AJ is just enough for AJ to get the job done in such a spectacular way that fight with Wilder and AJ, it just blows up and becomes this big worldwide thing.
Yeah, I mean, Joshua feels like this is what he feels like. I'm not saying how one way or the other. And I think all three, and to be fair, I think all those fights are well past their due. All right. We're not getting them for the stakes that they all should have been fought at in each fighter's prime. But I do think they're fights that, because of what I just said, Joshua could lose to Fury and still do the Wilder fight. Or vice versa. He could lose to Wilder and still do the Fury fight, because it's just about who's going to get the bragging rights, who's going to get on the box rec, the win over the other one, so their fanboys could say, my guy beat that guy, But I'm with you. I would like to see Joshua and Wilder. I saw from Joshua a little bit more spite in crossing Deontay Wilder, whereas with Fury, he did his whole shtick about, you got to wait for me and I'm the landlord and I'm the boss, which is all corny, stuff for me personally, but I get it. That's their prerogative, their storyline, their drama between each other.
Right.
But the division to me is really about Moses Saitama right now.
I knew you were going to say that.
It is. Yeah. And to me, the substance of the division is you got very respectable veterans. Well, and Fabio Wardley is a veteran, even though he started the sport late and hasn't had a whole huge number of fights. But you got respectable veterans with a lot of momentum in Agit Kabayel and Fabio Wardley. Daniel Dubois maybe still beats Wardley. I'm giving the edge to Wardley, but
Me too.
Dubois could definitely beat him. But the division's about those guys with a lot of momentum who each have a belt. I mean, Kabayel's the interim champion, but he might get elevated to full champion. It's about Richard Torres, who's the Shawn Porter of the heavyweight division. I see him as an overachiever who's gonna, if nothing else, beat you on conditioning and heart and preparation and an underrated skill set as the shorter fighter. And I see, but the real center stage storyline of the division of substance is Moses Saitama's ascension gonna cross paths with Usyk's late reign? Are those two gonna cross paths before it's all said and done? And will they meet for the heavyweight title? But the Las Vegas show that's gonna make maybe more money than all of that, probably more money than all of that, is the sunsetting on this trio of Wilder, Joshua, and Fury.
Yep. Well said. Well put. Real quick, where is Jalovalov at?
Jalalov. Yeah.
Jalalov. Yeah.
That's a good question, right? Out of sight, out of mind. I don't see him on any of these big cards. I believe he might be fighting on the Usyk card against Rico Verhoeven. Go ahead and take the mic for one moment while I double check that.
Yeah, well, the reason why I bring up this kid is because this dude is somewhat of a specimen himself in terms of size and ability at heavyweight in the heavyweight division. And I would have thought that we would be talking about him before we get to talking about Moses Altama. But as you guys know, it's a part of the game. Guys having a hard time staying busy, guys having a hard time getting the right opportunities. And seems to me like Jolalov is one of those guys that just hasn't had the right opportunity. And which is unfortunate because the dude is really, really good.
Yeah, he has a great left hand. He won the gold medal. He knocked Richard Torres out in the early stages right before the tournament, and then Richard made it a much tougher fight in the actual gold medal match, which shows you what Richard's made of. But yeah, I mean, I remember seeing him fight ringside in the 2022 Hall of Fame early in his pro career. And one thing people, experts that watch him are concerned about is he a one-trick pony? Distance, distance, left hand, distance, distance, left hand, which was enough to beat everybody in the Olympics. But for me, Bakadir Jalalov it's out of sight, out of mind. I gotta see you in a fight that people are looking forward to or talking about on a card. People are looking forward to or talking about. His pedigree speaks for itself. But
Yeah.
you're right. He's the forgotten man right now in the
Right.
heavyweight division. But that doesn't mean he isn't a potential threat. So.
Right.
Yeah.
And then shout out to Philip Fry 1583. He said that Itama is overrated. I don't think it's so much that Itama is overrated, but again, it's like you got like these crossroads, right? And he just hasn't come to that crossroad against a Dubois or someone like that
That's
that
what's
everyone
next.
can look that everyone can look at and say, okay, this dude really is the goods. But man, I said the same thing about Boots Ennis. Like, slow down. He's not there yet. You guys are, saying so many of these. He's gonna get there. It's just a matter of time. And the same thing with Itama. I think Itama is gonna get there as well. And there's no doubt that he's gonna get there. But I could understand why people would say that he could be or is overrated. He's touted high, and
Oh
when
yeah.
he doesn't have the kind of background and accolades that some of these other guys have, it's like, hey, his ceiling, where's his ceiling at? So I think his ceiling's high, and I think he's going to reach up to it.
It's very similar to Boots when he's younger because his Alexander Usyk was Boots's Terrence Crawford, where it's like, what's this kid accomplished? And it's like, well, just on the eye test alone, I think he's got a shot to beat
Right.
Bud Crawford. Just on the eye
Right.
test alone, I think he's got a shot to beat Alexander
Right.
Usyk. So
Yeah.
if you are taking a fighter who's essentially hasn't accomplished anything at the championship level, but you're so enamored with the talent that you're saying, I think he might be able to beat the best fighter on the planet. I understand if you're pushing back and going, now you're making him an overrated fighter. But I'm sorry, the eye test sometimes is the eye test is an A plus, so
Yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah, let's move forward, get up out of here. Shout out to MVP. They have a all women series going to ESPN, and topping the bill on this one is Alycia Baumgardner, and she's getting in the ring with Mi Re Shin. Did I
Mhm.
say it right?
I believe so. I hope
I
so.
hope it's Ray and not Re, because I was like, do Re Mi,
Or
so
Rye.
yeah.
Rye. It could have been Rye.
Oh, could have been right. Oh, what? Yeah, we got Bomb getting back. Shout out to ESPN for bringing women's boxing back, bringing boxing back to ESPN, and shout out to MVP Jake Paul. I know he's got some things going on over there on his side, but if we're just keeping it on boxing, it seemed like he came in here doing the right things. He's continuing to live up to what he said he was going to do for boxing at this point. It's just on the women's side, and I think that's his lane. His lane is the what do you call it? The what do you call it? The social media stuff, and then that lane is the women's boxing. Nobody's doing it the way he's able to do it. So he's signing them and he's putting them on. So I'm looking forward to seeing Bomb get back.
Yeah.
You got anything in closing? We also got Ben Whitaker coming back. Has he had a fight? I think he's had 2 fights since that struggle he had.
With Liam Cameron, including knocking him out in one round in the rematch. But
Yeah, he did knock him out. Yeah.
I'll dish on Bomb real quick, and I know we
Yeah.
got to get going. Bo is a tough Korean fighter, man. Korean fighters come tough. They're durable and they got good conditioning. And that's why Bo in the second half of the Dubois fight, she's lost her last two losses are by a split and a majority decision. So she's very durable. And if you get to the back half, she's gonna come forward more and more early on. A fighter like Dubois, a fighter like Baumgardner, who has an athletic advantage, has some length advantage, they're gonna get off to that hot start, but she's not going anywhere. And so if Baumgardner, who is coming off a rare women's 12-round fight, but if your conditioning isn't on point, or for Baumgardner, one thing you tell me you could worry about with her is overtraining. She could be a little overtrained, and she's been doing a lot of talking. What she has to do, her real assignment in this fight, after dismissing Caroline Dubois, which the hardcore boxing audience is asking for, go up to lightweight, fight Caroline Dubois. But she has her own point for sure of saying, look, we're thinking Katie Taylor. We're thinking big. We're thinking Netflix main event, multi-million-dollar fight. Although Caroline Dubois in the UK, they're boxing fanatics over there, so it is a big fight. But I fancy myself, if I'm Baumgardner, as along with Amanda Serrano, the face of MVP boxing. I'm the A side. I got my crossover appeal. I'm not trying to go to the United Kingdom and fight a younger fighter like that. Where really because the UK is going to be showing up for both of them, but rooting for her. Anyways, one interesting thing about this fight, Shawn, for me, is that Alycia is Blasian. She's half Korean, half black, like Redman. I'm a big Redman fan. Shout out to the Funk Doctor spot. So kind of cool for her. In my eyes, kind of cool for her that she fights a fighter from Seoul, Korea, representing half of her heritage there.
Right.
And the real goal for her in this fight, from my eyes, is, okay, you want to be dismissive of Caroline Dubois, show the levels then. You say your level's above Caroline Dubois. Caroline Dubois gets held to a majority decision against this fighter, blow her out the water. If not, beat her by decisive fashion. Show those levels. You've talked about those levels. Show it Friday night in New York City. And then, try to land your big fight with Katie Taylor or whomever. But yeah, that's what I think the goal is for her. And then you also said, Ben, what do you think though about possibly the overtraining thing? And there's some pressure on her too.
It was interesting that you said that. And I was going to let it go because I knew we were running over time, but I just want to know where that came from you.
She's a gym rat. Like she's one of those fighters you got to pull out of the gym instead of worrying about getting them there. And she's made 130 for a minute, kind of like I talk about with Oshaki Foster. They're two fighters that keep themselves in phenomenal shape. You look at them every weigh in, they're cut like a bag of dope. I know it's cheesy to use that, but they're in great shape. And you just wonder, is she staying around the weight a little too long? Is she a little overtrained? She loves her weightlifting as much as her boxing training. And, and then still the tinkering with her style with Derek James, where it's more catch and shoot, more consistent work, 3 minutes of every round. Derek James is going to put you through some tough training camps, whereas Tony Harrison is going to make you slow it down, focus on that counter punching with that right hand over the top, being a little bit more twitchy. Derek James is going to make you work. And you just wonder, down in those hot Texas gyms, if she's overtrained a little bit, got a lot of pressure on her. Sometimes those ingredients could lead to, for yourself, a disappointing or flat performance. I'm not banking on that. I'm not thinking that. It's just a thought passing my mind heading into the fight.
Yeah, that's it.
I expect her to look like Alycia Baumgardner, which I think is one of the best women's fighters in women's boxing. So I'm looking for her to handle her business. But the task, I would say, you talked about levels, show levels, or else the talks of Dubois, including from her, are only going to get louder and louder. And if you want a Katie Taylor, you got to show something that makes Katie Taylor, who's done it all and is thinking of retirement, have her appetite wet by it. She has to be, all right, I want to fight this girl, because Katie Taylor has nothing to prove.
Right.
You and Caroline Dubois still proving yourselves compared to a Katie Taylor.
Right. Well, listen, we're going to get out of here, guys. Enjoy the weekend. Got some good fights coming up again. MVP kicking off on ESPN. I'm glad that boxing's getting back on ESPN. And then do not forget 6 p.m. Pacific time. You guys can tune in and watch the PorterWay Podcast stream live boxing out at the Arizona Center. The Arizona Center. Yeah, if you in Phoenix, Arizona area, go ahead and get some tickets to come hang out with us. Live boxing, live MMA, live music, live DJing. A lot of vendors out there. It's going to be a great time. Families, we want you guys to come out and have fun with us. All that said, switched it up today for the motivational message. I saw my guy post something, a brother in Christ of mine post something that I really liked. And I said, you know what? This is going to be my motivational message for the weekend.
My bad. That wasn't Ben Whitaker that got the first round knockout in the rematch. He stopped him, but it was another fighter he knocked out in 1 round, I believe.
Okay, got you. No,
Yep.
no biggie. So shout out to Jason_JVC. He's got a great page on Instagram and on he's also on Glad TV as well. You guys check him out. Enjoy this motivational message, and this is the PorterWay.
You're winning. Hold up. How you out here disrespecting what you paid to experience? You lucky all LeBron did was tell you, hey, calm down, relax. Because some of y'all act like y'all on the team. No. Watch this. You bought a seat, not a say. Let me help somebody. Access has confused your authority. You have none. Just because you're close to greatness, in no way does it mean you have the qualifications to correct it. Some of y'all gonna like this. Proximity is a privilege. It is not permission. But some of y'all still miss the message because some of you treat your relationship with God the same way. You prayed for his presence, but you argue with his process. And I'm gonna tell you what LeBron told you. Relax, calm down. Have yourself several seats.